This is the third week of March, and you're listening to Porch Talk.
Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk. Porch Talk.
This episode is brought to you by Skirt Chaser Outfitters. Stop fishing, start catching. Today we're going to be discussing nothing but March Madness, and today I'm joined with Jacob Sexton from Anderson, South Carolina. He's a senior at UNC Greensboro, and he's one of the most knowledgeable basketball fans I know, and he's definitely the most opinionated one I know. And so, Sexton, man, I'm really glad to have you on here.
Hey, glad to be here. I appreciate the opinionated thing. That's really what I strive to be.
Yeah, I'm trying to be very factual here, and I know that for sure. Talking to you for a lot of times about basketball, and hopefully we'll have a couple disagreements here because this basketball tournament has been one of the craziest, if not the craziest, tournament I've heard or I've seen all year. So we're going to start with our opening thoughts here, and for me, we're going to start off with what the hell is going on with this tournament. So today, on this past first round, it was we saw history being made with the 16th seed UMBC beating the number 1 seed Virginia by 20 points. Not only are they the first 16th seed to ever beat a number 1 seed, but they're absolutely the team that just absolutely obliterated them. They beat them by 20 points. And that's something that we have seen a lot in this tournament, and something that, for me, really solidified it. Beating a team by 20 points means that you were just fundamentally better than your opponent. And you can't blame the refs, and you can't say the team just got lucky and hit all their shots. You can't say any of that. 20 freaking points, and that's unreal. So, Sexton, I want to hear what happened to Virginia, and I want to see what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to disagree with you off the bat on that one. Because
what for?
If you think UMBC is the better team and you think that, UVA is just not what their record shows, you're crazy. I'll tell you exactly what happened. Tony Bennett's system bit him in the butt. It's been tremendous all year, but that pack line defense killed them. Because I'm going to try to put this in lame. I'm not going to try and go too in depth with this one because I don't understand it as fully as Tony Bennett does, and I don't think Tony Bennett really understands it. Oh, yeah. Well, the basic premise of the pack line defense is you got one guy on the perimeter, and he's guarding the on ball. He's guarding his man when he has the ball, and the other four guys are packed inside the 3-point line to take away driving lanes and make shots at the rim as contested as humanly possible. And what that does is leave you susceptible to the 3-point line and just getting drilled from outside. And if you look in the games that UVA did lose, like against Virginia Tech, the 3-point line really they got bit in the butt by it.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think UMBC shot 12 for 25. They were hitting everything when they came back out of the break. And when that happened, you saw UVA spread their defense more and come out and start contesting the shots more because UVA can't play from behind. They don't have the offense to do that. And when they start opening up and exposing themselves to those driving lanes, you saw Jarius Lyles just cut them up.
All right, so, here's my argument then, is that UMBC, they did a great job of exposing the defense, Virginia's defense, by one, drilling their shots and making the 3-point line and forcing them out and onto the perimeter. And then after that, they did a great job of attacking inside as well.
I agree with you.
So for me, my argument would be is that that's excellent coaching by UMBC's coach, and it was a fundamental breakdown by Virginia.
I agree.
So I'm saying that UMBC is a better coach, or it was better coached.
I think for that game it was. I mean, Odom's a good coach anyway. He's going to be spoiler alert, he's going to be looking at some big offers over the summer. Somebody's going to try and pounce on him.
Yeah.
UMBC actually came out today, and so they were trying to sign him to a long-term extension to keep him.
I'll jump on that right away. But I think though, beating a team by 20 points, and then they hung in there against Kansas State, and we'll talk about that in a little bit there. But I think UMBC was a great team, and I think they were a better team than Virginia on that night.
Well, I'll say this. I agree with you. They were a better team on that night. But 85 out of 100 times, Virginia's winning that game. Because when they got overexposed on defense and they were trying to close out too hard on these threes and they were leaving all these driving lanes open, and they were going away from what they have been all year. This is one of the historically greatest teams in ACC conference play ever.
Yeah.
And you don't do that. You don't beat UNC and North Carolina and all these other teams. Or UNC and Duke. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just said them UNC twice. But you don't beat the two of them and all these other dominant ACC schools by not actually being good. Plus, I mean, once they got down, you saw, like, you could see the panic. I think Devin Hall shot 0 for 6 from 3 and 1 for 9 from the game. You had Isaiah Wilkins and Ty Jerome jacking threes, which is not their game at all. And you saw they pretty much went away from everything that they've done all season in a panic mode.
Yeah. And speaking of panic, we have seen that several times throughout the tournament so far. UNC get versus Texas A&M. I mean, they were abysmal behind the arc.
Boy, you know, I live on Tobacco Road. I was having a field day yesterday. It was.
I mean, that was unreal, and I think Auburn went on panic mode too. Yeah, let's talk about that one real quick. So it was a 5 versus 4 seed right here, right? And Clemson's the 5th seed, Auburn's the 4th seed, and they won 84-53. How does that happen?
Well, I said yesterday before the game that Mustafa Heron had to be the best player in that game for Auburn. I didn't think Auburn was going to win that game, and I said Mustafa Heron had to be the best player on both ends of the court, and that Brown had to have a tremendous game scoring for them to even have a chance in that game. And Mustafa Heron was the most relevant player on the court for Auburn. He certainly wasn't the best player for either team on the court. Yeah. And I think, Auburn's been good defensively all year. They kind of got exposed by Clemson's guard play. Clemson's got some of the better trio of guards than most teams in the country does, and I don't know. I just feel like I've been talking about this a lot too. I think that a lot of these matchups have shown that the seeding in the tournament is a little bit skewed. Clemson probably was more towards the 3 line in my eyes, while Auburn was probably closer to a 6. UNC was probably closer to a 4, and Texas A&M was probably closer to a 5.
Yeah, and I think.
Go ahead.
I think I agree with that too. There, real quick, is that I think that the committee's a little biased towards some big names too, because traditionally you hear Kentucky, you hear Xavier, you hear UNC, you hear Duke, you hear a lot of these big name teams that consistently show up in the tournament, and so naturally your instinct is to put them in a higher seed because you see them so much, is that you're going to want to put them in a higher seed. But I agree with you there because I don't think UNC was deserving of a 2 seed, especially they had a decent season, but
they had 10 losses.
Yeah, it's not a 2. They were not too worthy. I agree with that.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody up here, I got Duke and UNC and Wake and State all around me, and I was trying to tell everybody, all these Tar Heel fans, that Texas A&M is the hardest opponent for you in this tournament. It's not going to be anything down the road because what people don't understand about that team is Tyler Davis, DJ Hogue, and Robert Williams make up one of the best front courts in college basketball. I mean, Robert Williams is going to be a top 15 pick in the draft. Tyler Davis is one of the best centers in the country when he gets going, and DJ Hogue just makes that team run. And then Stark started making shots in the second half of that game too, and Texas A&M just blew him out of the water. Yeah, there was just nothing that UNC could do. They had no answer for that size.
Yeah, and no answer for the size, and and Texas A&M beat Chapel Hill at their own game. They were outrunning them. They were beating them on the fast breaks, and they were catching UNC sleeping when they're getting back on D. So I think Texas A&M, they might be the biggest sleeper in this tournament, honestly, because I think that they have the best chance to make it to the championship. Because you got to look at who they're playing. They're playing Michigan next, which I think that could be a tougher game than what we saw with UNC, but I still think Texas A&M takes that one. And then you're either looking at Gonzaga or FSU. And like you said, their size and the way that they can run the ball, I think that Texas A&M is going to make it to the championship pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M is going to run into Michigan, and they got a center on Michigan named Wagner. He's really solid, but I think Davis has the advantage in that one. And then it's just going to come down to Starks, Gilder, and Hogue just holding down the perimeter because Michigan's guard play is extremely good. And I think it's going to be like Starks has really come on in the last month or so.
Yeah, he really has
for A&M. And if he plays well, DJ Hogue does his thing. I think A&M has a chance in that game. Gonzaga is the one I think is going to come out of that bracket though, which it's kind of sad. Don't want to see Gonzaga in the Final Four again, but I don't know if A&M has the wings to get that Hachimura kid from Gonzaga's insane.
Yeah, he is. All right, so let's look at the Sweet 16 real quick. So, looking at these matchups here, who do you think has the best opportunity to get all the way and make it to the national championship?
It's Kentucky.
Kentucky,
it's Kentucky.
That's a good call.
Kentucky's got Kansas State here in the Sweet 16, and then they have the winner of Nevada and Loyola Chicago. Kentucky's been one of those teams I've been unsure of all year, but I know for a fact there's not a player on either of those other three teams as good as Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And if Kevin Knox is scoring the ball if he's scoring 15 a game, then it's going to make that team hard to beat. Because, I mean, I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's averaging something like 22, 5, and 6 in his last 7 games or something like that.
Yeah.
That would be on par with National Player of the Year numbers if you extrapolate that over a season. But, if everybody has this misconception that Kevin Knox is the best player on that team, he's just simply not.
I think he's the biggest name, but I don't think he's the best player.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, Gilgeous-Alexander was like the lowest rated recruit out of all those freshmen. Yeah. But if Shai keeps playing like he's been playing, Knox can be a potent number 2 for that team. And then if Wenyen Gabriel can fill that Derek Willis role, where you just be the tall, lanky big man that hits a couple of threes and plays defense, Kentucky's going to be a really hard out. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was Loyola Chicago, Kentucky in the Elite Eight.
Really?
Yeah, that Nevada team, they had an amazing comeback the other night.
They didn't miss.
Oh, they did.
I think Cincinnati lost them that game. Like they were up 22 points with 11 minutes left to go in the game, and then Nevada went on a 32-8 run to win by 2. So and also that last like 9 seconds of the game, nothing pissed me off more than that last 9 seconds, because they called a timeout and they drew up a play, they had it all set up, and then the point guard, I don't even know this guy's name. He was running, he ran around in circles for 7 seconds, tripped, and then tried to like do a little finger roll in over 2 big men. I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Yeah, like that was the worst 9 seconds of basketball I've ever seen in my life.
It was rough. It wasn't a good look for Cincinnati. I thought I actually had Cincinnati coming out of that Charlotte, or out of the South. I mean, out of playing. Yeah, and
that was the biggest collapse I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was rough. I don't know if I've ever seen a team fold that severely, especially in the tournament. But that was a tough one to see. Yeah.
Now, Grant. All right, so you got the South and the West, and I think Kentucky does. I agree with you. Kentucky does have the best opportunity to make it to the Final Four, and I think we could see Kentucky Gonzaga or Kentucky or Texas A&M. I think that's the most likely matchup that we will see there. But I think whoever makes it to the championship, I think they're going to be pretty. They're going to be pretty outmatched because you got to look at the East and the Midwest here. You got Villanova, who's been playing lights out. The only team, in my opinion, that has really been saying, "Hey, we deserve to be a number 1 seed. We deserve to make it to the championship, and we are going to get there." So you got Villanova at number 1. You got potentially West Virginia, who just obliterated Marshall last night. That was on Sunday night.
Yeah, my boy Elmore from Marshall. He really let me down. I needed the white James Harden to really come through, and he let me down.
Did you see that player that got 4 fouls in the first minute that he was on the court for Marshall?
Yeah, the only other player I've ever seen do that was my little brother in rec league, and that's just not something I want to imitate.
Not even a little bit. And he also looked like a father of 3. He looked like a 40-year-old man. He looked like the epitome of a West Virginian. He had a gut, and he was just I don't know how he was playing basketball really.
Any teeth missing?
I don't know about that, but he had a receding hairline, and he was a gut, and he just looked like should not have been on the basketball court whatsoever. And then he ended up getting 4 fouls, one of which was a technical within the first minute of him stepping on that court. So
well, while you're talking about the
up.
East, though, you're talking about Villanova being so dominant or whatever. I would not be shocked if Texas Tech was the team that came out of that.
Really? Why so?
Well, they're going to get past Purdue, and
you think so?
Without Isaac Haas,
dude, they're still super deep.
They are
deep,
and
they're
a really good
experienced.
team. Cam and Vince Edwards are they're really good. Or Carson Edwards, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
They're both the Edwards boys are really good. But
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech is one of the better defensive teams in the country. Zaire Smith defensively is going to be put on Vince Edwards, and I'm taking Zaire Smith in that matchup. And Keenan Evans is going to guard Carson Edwards, and Keenan Evans might be your Kemba Walker of this year's tournament. Because I mean, if you look at these teams that go on those runs like those Connecticut teams did with Kemba and Shabazz Napier, it's one guard who can really score the ball, and that's Keenan Evans. And it's also a very good defensive team. And Texas Tech is exactly that.
Yeah,
they do have to get by Purdue first, but Texas Tech size-wise matches up really good with Villanova, and I think that could be an interesting one because it'll be Evans guarding Brunson, and Zaire Smith will guard Mikal Bridges, and that'll be interesting to see.
My only hesitation with that would be you got to look at how Texas Tech has played in the tournament so far, and they've barely squeaked out against Florida, who is a good team. But then also, they didn't look that great in the first round either against Santa Fe Austin. I mean,
Stephen F.
Yeah, sorry.
That was another underrated team, though. Stephen F. Austin was actually a very good team, if people don't understand that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if you're going to say Texas Tech is going to really make a push and really challenge Purdue and even win against Purdue, I think that maybe Texas Tech isn't all it is hyped up to be, and I think Purdue, with the amount of experience that they have on that team, I think that they have the maturity to move on past the Sweet 16 here.
Yeah, I could see it. I'm just saying, I still have Nova coming out of that side, but
I mean, until Villanova proves me wrong, there's no way that I would just ever go against Villanova.
I understand.
They've looked solid all season, and they've looked solid in the past 2 games. So I mean, they made Alabama look like children out there. Honestly, I mean, it was embarrassing to be an Alabama fan. Honestly,
yeah, my fellow Sexton, he had a rough day. I was gonna order a Colin Sexton jersey just so I could tell people he was my cousin or something, but that one really let me down. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So, in the national championship right now, you've got Kentucky and Texas Tech.
No, I still got Villanova coming out.
Still got Villanova.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm actually you're not gonna like this. My Tobacco Road people will. I'm going Kentucky Duke.
Kentucky Duke.
Yeah.
All right. Is that your final answer?
Oh yeah, Kentucky Duke, and
all right.
I think it's a Duke year.
Oh God, that really hurts my heart right there. I mean, that's just
Yeah. Final four. I got Kentucky, Gonzaga, Villanova, and Duke at this point, and it's gonna be Duke.
God, we might. I can't believe we're gonna end on that. That is so upsetting. But
I hate to see it. I do love me some Grayson Allen, but that's
God, I hate.
It's not what
Duke,
I want to see.
All right. We're gonna end on this real quick. Somebody can try to compare Grayson Allen to God. I hate God. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name.
Christian Laettner.
Yes, so somebody tried to compare Christian Laettner to Grayson Allen, and I almost punched that person in the face because there's no way you can compare Grayson Allen to Christian Laettner because Christian Laettner was actually a good athlete. He was a good basketball player. And Grayson Allen, all he is he's a punk. In my opinion, he's a punk, and he's not that great, and he really is a product of just being a part of Duke's phenomenal program.
I think he's my spirit animal. And
yeah, I can see that because I want to punch you in the face a lot of times too.
That's understandable.
There's that.
I'm obnoxious. It's understandable. if anything, I'd relate him more closely to you remember Marshall Henderson?
Yeah,
they played at Ole Miss. Yeah, I'd equate him more to that. Marshall Henderson, a little bit different styles. Marshall Henderson had a problem with not being able to go a month without smoking pot, and he really loved flicking off student sections after he scored a bucket. But I see a lot of similarities, just like the cockiness and the like entitlement sort of feel.
Yeah.
But I like it though. I just think at the end of the day, that Bagley and Carter in the paint is a lot for any team to deal with.
Yeah.
And you combine that with Gary Trent and Grayson Allen scoring on the wings. That just makes things really hard. The only team I see that is properly equipped to match up with that is Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to get them in the Final Four, theoretically.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to take Duke head-to-head one matchup with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, only time will tell, man, but we got to wrap up here, man. I really love talking to you about this. Can't wait to watch some more basketball. This has been a really interesting and fun tournament to watch. And now that my bracket is just completely out the window, I can just enjoy watching basketball, honestly.
Honestly, the SEC made me really sad, so I'm just going to try and...
Yeah. They're not even worth talking to, man.
I really hate Kentucky, but I guess I'm going all in on it now.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, love talking to you, man, and we'll hopefully get you on here soon again to talk about more basketball. But until next time, man.
Sounds good. Talk to you soon.